Shalom to everybody out there. Hope y'all having a fantastic night. Hope y'all enjoyed your. Shalom to everybody. So I had to make sure I had some volume. But hope y'all enjoyed your Friday. Today, what I will be doing a in-depth, very so in-depth. So hope you got some popcorn. But I will be doing an in-depth study dealing with why the law of Moses is over with, and how we are in the kingdom age. And I'm going to be going through a lot of documents. So on top of scriptures, just to show you the correct point of view or my point of view, and you can take it how it is. But I'm not going to hold up in the introduction. This is all about the law. I've been broadcasting. I was going to do this all week. So why not just jump right into it? We're going to be going over the law of Moses and showing you how no one in America is doing the law of Moses. It's impossible to do the law of Moses, and we are not in the Mosaic covenant. We are in the new kingdom age. Me being a full preterist, knowing all things have been fulfilled anyway, it's impossible to have the law of Moses inside of the kingdom age. But that's neither here nor there right now. We're just going to go through scriptures as well as some documentation from thousands of years ago, just to show you some of the arguments that they had, also dealing with the same thing. So hopefully y'all have your popcorn, because this is going to take a while. I'm not planning on this being a short video. So you can leave, come back, bring more people, tag whomever you want to tag or whatever. We're going to prove that the law is a no-go. So first, why not let's go where it all started. Let's go to Exodus, right? Let's go to Exodus chapter 19. Let's take it off of this. And we're going to do a lot of reading with dialogue. So we're gonna do some reading, a lot of reading, breaking down, and then we're gonna go on. I'm sorry, y'all. There's no quick fix dealing with the law. There's no quick fix with this subject. It's going to take time. So let's go through it. Exodus 19 and 1. In the third month, when the children of Israel was gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. So I'm not gonna read all this. I'm gonna skip around so we can hit some hot points. Wow, that was loud. But Exodus 19 and 3. And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. This eagle's wings we see in Daniel and Revelation also. It represents swiftness. It represents how fast. Now, Exodus 19:5. Now therefore, now listen to exactly what the Most High says. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then, see, we're already starting off with how the Most High speaks to the children of Israel. So we got to listen to everything that he says. If ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. So this lets you know that the Most High controlled everybody. All nations was under the control of the Most High. But in order for Israel to be a peculiar treasure of people to the Most High. They had to obey his voice and keep his covenant. So guess what? If they did not obey the voice and keep the covenant, then they would not be a peculiar treasure. You can't have it both ways. The only way for them to be a peculiar people out to the Most High, they had to obey his voice and keep his covenant. First thing first, and ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests. This is what he wanted from Israel, to be a kingdom of priests. Who were they going to priest to? Who were they going to do the priesthood? Who was they going to be the mediators for? For themselves? No. The original plan was for the children of Israel to be a kingdom of priests, and they was going to mediate between the Father and the other nations. This was the original goal. The original goal. But now, and ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. Okay. Notice, right here, he wants them to keep his covenant, obey his voice. He did not say anything about laws right here. You don't see nothing about laws right now. You see the original plan. Obey my voice, keep my covenant, be a kingdom of priests, be an holy nation. You don't see nothing about any laws right now. This was the original plan. So now, let's keep reading. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all these words which the Lord commanded him. What words? The words we just read. Follow my voice. Obey my voice. Keep my covenant. You will be a peculiar people. These were the words that the Most High had for the children of Israel in the beginning. This is what he commanded. This was his command. Follow my words. Obey my words. Be in my covenant. Nothing about any laws right here. No laws. Okay? You see how easy the Most High had it laid out for the children of Israel in the beginning. This is the beginning when they left Egypt. So now, verse 8, and all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord hath spoken, we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. So now, they said, everything you just said, we will do. We will obey your voice. We will keep your covenant. Once again, still, no laws. This is all righteous acts. See? You had the covenant of Adam, the covenant of Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David. Well, David comes later, but Jacob. So, all of these people was based off of righteousness. No laws, no stresses, no strings, just simple commandments. Do what I say, you'll be okay. This is where Israel is right now. In the same way all of those other covenants were before them, this is where they were at right now. So let's keep reading. Let's keep going. And the Lord said unto Moses, Lo, I come unto thee in the thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. So he said, I'm going to come in a thick cloud, and the people are going to actually hear my voice, and then they will believe you, Moses. So I'm going to do this for pretty much a sign. I could tell you, but I want the people to hear me so they can believe you. Because they're going to actually, well, we'll go through it. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. So what are they doing? They're getting sanctified because they're supposed to be what? A priesthood, a kingdom of priests. So they had to get sanctified. They had to go through the purifications. So now, and be ready against the third day. For the third day, the Lord will come down in the sight of all people upon Mount Sinai. Okay, so let's see. Let's skip down. 14, and Moses went down from the mountain to the people and sanctified the people and washed their clothes. So we see them. We see the same thing being presented in the new covenant when they were supposed to wash their garments, and their garments were supposed to be white. This was all an allusion to the last end goal. But anyway, now let's go to verse 16. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all people that was in the camp trembled. So now, the Most High is showing the children of Israel great wonders. He's showing them the wonders of his deity, how powerful he is. So he have the thunders and lightnings. We see the same thing dealing with Christ later on. So you have the thunders and the lightnings. You have the clouds. All of this language is getting spoken of in the New Testament also about Christ coming. But look what else you have. You have the voice of the trumpet. How was Christ supposed to be coming with? Coming with a trumpet. So all of this pulls from what happened in the Torah. But anyway, the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud. Trumpets means alarms. It signifies either an army is coming or a king is coming. So this is a king coming. So now, and Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the nether part of the mountain. So the people came out to meet the Father. And Mount Sinai was altogether on the smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire. And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. You see the same language. There are going to be earthquakes in diverse places, and then the earth is going to shake before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. This is where they pulled from. They got the Father descending with fire and smoke. Was it his literal body? No. The fire and the smoke represented him. It represented his authority. It represented him coming to the people on the mount. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and God answered him by a voice. And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai, on the top of the mount, and the Lord called Moses up the top of the mount, and Moses went up. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go down, charge the people, lest thou break through the Lord to gaze, and many of them perish, because they cannot look at the Father. And let the priests also, which come near to the Lord, sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them. So at this point in time, the nation of Israel was supposed to be priests. Not the Levites by themselves, but the whole nation was supposed to be a nation of priests at this time. And Moses said unto the Lord, The people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for thou chargest us, saying, Set the bounds against the mount, about the mount, and sanctify it. All right, so now let's see here. Let's see where we at. All right, so now you have, and the Lord said unto him, Away, get down, that thou shalt come up. And the Lord said unto him, Get away, get thee down, that thou shalt come up, thou and Aaron with thee, but let not the priests and the people break through to them to come up to the Lord, lest he break forth upon them. So Moses went down unto the people and spake unto them. So now you have pretty much what was going on here. The Israelites has just been saved, right? They have just been saved from the calamities of Egypt. So the Most High had spared their lives. He had given them plenty of grace, plenty of mercy in order for them to reach this point. So at this point, they was all being gathered together in order to become priests for the Most High. They had been sanctified and etc. So now, let's go to chapter 20. So now, we're going to receive instructions from the Most High. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt not have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. So now, once you go back to right here, 20 and 4, what do we have? Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven or above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. So, let's see if we can see some things. This is just my Facebook right here. Let's see. I just want to see if we can see anything offhand. What if I just go to my friends list? I'm just trying to see if we can see anything offhand. If not, we're gonna keep it pushing. But I don't want to go through all of it. But perfect examples. Let's see. I don't want to misspell the stuff, but oh no, definitely not that. Sorry about that, y'all. I can't edit that either. Misspelled my nor. But now let's see if we can get a better image. Now, okay. So you can't have any of the candlesticks. You can't have no images of the candlesticks, right? You can't have any images of Yahweh or blackmail this or that. You can't have any cross. You can't have any things like a temple. You can't have any animals. You can't have any fish. Let me see here. Let me see if I can have this. Let me see if we have it. Okay, here we go. You can't have any fish. Pretty much no images of anything that's in the water, on the land, or in the heavenlies. So you can't have no picture of no sun. You can't have no picture of no images of the sun, no images of the moon. Really, pretty much nothing that you can actually use as a deity. None of that. All that's gone. So once we're talking about the commandments and stuff, some of this stuff has to be brought out. That you cannot have this stuff. It's against what the Most High said. And once again, got to apologize for that image that came up. I can't edit it, and it is what it is. We're grown, but that's not what I was trying to get to. I was trying to spell manure. But let's keep reading. Exodus 27, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath unto the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. So, at this point in time, they were still in the wilderness. So, this wasn't, at this point in time, this wasn't just strictly to Jerusalem. Right now, it just said, in thou gates. So, there's no working on the Sabbath day. Okay? There's no, I got grace, I can go to work. None of that. Okay? If you got a job and it makes you work on the Sabbath day, you're not supposed to do it if you're following the laws of Moses. Okay? No working on the Sabbath day. Your children can't work. None of it. Okay? You're down. You're resting, period. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Once again, honor thy father and thy mother. Colon. Let's look that up real fast. No more bad things. Colon. Definition. Let's look at what colon means. Okay? Colon. We know it's a large a punctuation mark used chiefly to direct attention to matter, such as a list, explanation, quotation, or amplification that follows. So it's either going to be a list of things, an explanation of things, a quotation, or an amplification. Point blank period. So once you see a colon created by the translators, it's either to precede a list of items, it's either going through a quotation or an expansion, amplification, or explanation. Okay? So now, once you see colons in scriptures, just know something is fin to get explained. Okay? Honor thy father and thy mother. Explanation. That thy days may be long upon the land. Upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. What land is this? The land of Canaan. Okay? The land of Canaan. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land of Canaan. Thanks everybody for listening. What's up, Caleb? Roland, Mr. Lee, Mr. Monster, Christopher, Mr. Roger. I hope everyone is doing fine. But now, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land of Canaan, which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Okay? You're in America. Okay? This was something about the land of Canaan. But anyway, thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witnesses against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that's thy neighbor's. Okay, so now, was any of these things already bad? Yes. Before there was a law of Moses, adultery, Joseph, he knew adultery was wrong. He didn't want to sleep with that man's wife. Cain knew killing Abel was wrong. They knew that they shouldn't steal or lie or bear false witnesses. and they should not want their neighbors' things. They should not. They should be happy with what they have and not want their neighbors' things. So all of these things that is what people knew throughout society anyway. They knew this from Adam all the way up into Moses. So why does he have to tell the Israelites this stuff? Why do he have to make a big deal to the Israelites? Hey, how you doing, Mr. Paul? Hope you're having a good night. Well, because Israel just came out of what 215 years in Egypt and another 215 in Canaan. So I think it goes like that. But anyway, it was 430 years of servitude. So the Israelites, especially being in Egypt, they lost all aspects of morality. They did not have anything moral learning from the ways of the Egyptians. So the Father had to bring righteousness back to his people because this was going to be his chosen people. This was going to be his priestly people. But they wasn't righteous. So he had to give them commandments that everybody was doing anyway in order to make them righteous, because all of the atrocities that they learned while being in captivity. And look, and all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, Speak thou with us, and we will hear. But not let God speak with us, lest we die. So now, what do we have here? The Father gave Israel plain commandments, nothing hard. But they asked for Moses to speak on their behalf. In other words, they did not want to deal with the Father themselves. They wanted to go through a mediator. So they took the deity having a relationship with them, and they transformed it to go through a person or a spokesperson. They didn't want to talk to the deity. They would rather talk to the spokesperson. So now, let's see here. And then you see it right here. It says laws about altars. And the Lord said unto Moses, Thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, Ye have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. Ye shall not make you shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall you make unto them gods of gold. An altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, and shalt sacrifice thereon thy burnt offerings, and thy peace offerings, thy sheep and thine oxen. In all places where I require my name, I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. So now, look what he says. He says, in all places, let you know it's more than one, in all places where I record my name, I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. So now, what did he do? He told them the same thing he told them in the beginning. Don't have any gods before me, and make an altar. And upon that altar, give your burnt offerings and your peace offerings. These are the same offerings that Abel was doing, Noah was doing, Moses was going to go in the wilderness and do. Pretty much Abraham was doing, Isaac was. In other words, they weren't doing nothing different than anybody else was doing. They was told to be moral. And they was told to do these extra offerings. Well, not extra, but the offerings that everybody was doing to the Most High in the first place. So nothing extra has came down yet. So in the beginning, he was showing the grace. He just wanted them to be righteous. So now he was giving them what they needed to do in order to be righteous, which we call the Ten Commandments. And dealing with the Ten Commandments, since all of them was priests, he was telling them, well, this is the sacrifices that I'm going to require of you guys. So now, nothing different than he wasn't asking anybody from any other civilization dealing with righteousness to do. So now, and look, and if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hewn stone. And if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. Neither shalt thou go up steps unto mine altar, that thy nakedness be not discovered thereupon. So they couldn't go up steps. They had to go up a ramp. So when they go up, I guess you couldn't see up under their robes, see their manly parts. So now, then Exodus 21. Now these are the judgments. So now we had commandments. Now we have judgments. These are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. So now we have a difference between commandments and judgments. Why? Because the Most High understood that these people just came out of Egypt, seeing all of this immoral things that's not righteous. So he's trying to help them get back righteous. Okay? And he goes through all of them. Like, if you buy a Hebrew servant 6 years, he shall serve, and in the 7th year, he shall go out free for nothing. That pretty much represents the Jubilee year as well as the Sabbath, the rest. Let's see if I'm just going to go through a few of these. You got master. Let's see here. If he take him another wife, lets you know that, hold on. If she please not her, I guess we start. If a man sell his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out as the men servants do. If she please not her master, whom hath betrothed her to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed. To sell her into a strange nation, he shall have no power, seeing he hath dealt deceitfully with her. And if he have betrothed her unto his son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. If he take him another wife after he's betrothed, he don't want her, he gets another wife. Her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. So, let's see what we have right here. So she can, this is, if he don't want one, he can get another, but make sure he has to do the duties of that woman like he was doing with the duties with the other woman. In other words, at this point in time, they had laws that deal with polygyny. This is where polygyny actually originated from. The ideal of polygyny actually originated from the Torah. And it happened before the Torah. We all know that in the old days, a man had more than one wife. The Gentiles did the wife more than one husband. But for the righteous people, some of the righteous people had more than one wife. So this is some of the things to put a hold on some of that, because they didn't want these people who just came out of this immoral society to be doing wickedly with these women. So he had to put some restraints on it. Okay, if you're going to be going bouncing from woman to woman like this, you got to make sure that you provide all of the things for these women. So now, oh right, indeed, brother Caleb. Indeed, this is exactly what it is. He had to. They was in, and I never even saw that, but I understand that by reading it. They was in such an immoral place that he had to get them back moral and righteous in order to be the kings and priests. And if he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money. So then a woman could leave the man if he did not give her raiment, do the duty in marriage, and etc. She could leave him. He that smiteth a man so that he die, shall he surely put shall be surely put to death. He that smiteth the man so that he die shall be surely put to death. So, is anybody doing that today? Now, I know we have some laws in these states that if a person is a mass murderer, they can get the death penalty. But can you go out and kill somebody today that killed somebody? I mean, because this is one of the things, in order for the Most High needed mankind or the Israelites to become moral. They wanted you to know that if you killed somebody, you could die. But who's practicing that today? And if a man lie not to wait, but God deliver him into his hand, then I will appoint thee a place whither he shall flee. But if a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor to slay him with guile, thou shalt take him from mine altar, that he may die. See, these are all judgments. If you do something, then a judgment will occur. This is all this is, judgment. And he that smiteth his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or he that is found in his hand, he shall be surely put to death. And he that curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. And if any man strive together and one smite another with a stone or with his fist, and he do not die but keepeth his bed, if he rise again and walk abroad upon his staff, then shall he that smote him be quit. Only he shall pay for the loss of time, and shall cause him to be thoroughly healed. So if you hurt somebody through anger, you have to pay that person for their loss of time, and you got to make sure that person is healed from all mischief you gave him. And if a man smite his servant or his maid with a rod, and he die under his hand, he shall be surely punished. And if a man strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, she have a miscarriage, and yet no mischief follow, he shall be surely punished, according to the woman's husband will lay upon him, as the woman's husband will lay upon him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, hand for a hand, foot for a foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, strike for strike. And if any man smite the eye of his servant or the eye of his maid that it perish, he shall let him go free for his eye's sake. And we can go on more and more and more and more. For you to see. Let's go to 22. Dealing with judgment. Let's go 22. I mean, we're just going to jump around. Let's go to 16. And if a man entice laws about social justice. So this is a whole, well, we're going to read it. And if a man entice a maid that is betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. So if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, so she can't be engaged to nobody, and lie with her, have sex with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. So he has to marry her. So this makes the sex as marriage thing a little strange, because he will be forced to marry her, but at the same time, this is just like saying sex is marriage, because you're supposed to marry the woman. If her father utterly refused to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. Do anybody know how much the dowry of virgins are today? I don't think so. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Let me see what that is. I ain't even got a word for what witch is right there. Probably a diviner or something. One that practices divination. Whosoever lieth with the beast shall surely be put to death. You see all of the stuff that they had to worry about dealing with the 400 and some years they was into servitude in an immoral land under immoral leaders. So they had to be mentally broken from this stuff. Look, why would he say that anybody who lied with the beast shall be surely put to death if they wasn't lying with beast? If he wasn't worried about them going out having sex with animals, why would he have to put something about them having sex with animals? You see, this is the point of that governing system in the beginning. He that sacrifices to any god, save unto the Lord only, he shall be utterly destroyed. Now, did that happen? No, that's all throughout the Bible. They weren't killing each other. Thou shalt neither. Now, here we go right here. Now, for all my pro-Israelite people, my Israel-only people, Exodus 22:21. Thou shalt neither vex a stranger nor oppress him, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. So let's see what that means. Thou shalt not vex, to be violent, to rage, suppress, maltreat, destroy, oppress, proud, vex, do violence. So you can't suppress, be violent, be raged, to maltreat, to destroy a stranger, a guest, by implication, a foreigner, an alien, a sojourner, a stranger. These ain't talking about Israelites, because he said, because you were strangers in the land of Egypt. You were outsiders in the land of Egypt. So you cannot vex a stranger nor oppress him. You shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If thou afflict them in a wise, and listen what he says, if thou afflict them in any wise, and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry. If thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as an usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury. Let's see here. Thou shalt not delay to offer the first of thy ripe fruits and of thy liquors. The firstborn of thy son shalt thou give unto me. Who's doing that in America? I just want to know who's doing that part in America right now. All my law keepers. I just want to know who's doing that. Thou shalt not delay to offer the first of thy ripe fruits and of thy liquors, the firstborn of thy sons shalt thou give unto me. I mean, who's doing that? Likewise shalt thou do with thine oxen and with thy sheep. 7 days it shall be with his dam, and on the 8th day thou shalt give it to me. And ye shall be holy men, because this was the point. This was the point of it. You shall be holy men unto me. That was the main point of the law. Holiness. And you shall be holy men unto me, neither shall ye eat any flesh that is torn of beasts in the field. Ye shall cast it to the dogs. So you know roadkill. Okay? And then in 23, I just want to go to 10. In 6 years thou shalt sow thy land, and shalt gather the fruits thereof. But the 7th year thou shalt let it rest and lie still, that the poor of thy people may eat. And what they leave, the beasts of the field shall eat. In like manner thou shalt deal with the vineyard and with thy olive yard. So now, and then verse 14. 3 times thou shalt keep a feast unto me in the year. So, and you got to do this, verse 19. The first of the first fruits of thy land thou shalt bring into the house of the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not seeth a kid in his mother's milk. I don't know who's doing all that either. So now, this is all certain things that they had to do. 24:3. And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord and all the judgment. And all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which the Lord had said, we will do. So they agreed to all of that. In verse 7. And he took the book of the covenant and read it in the audience to the people. And they said, all that the Lord had said, we would do and be obedient. So, the book of the covenant, this was the covenant that Moses was the mediator of between the Most High and Israel. What do they say is the reason they don't keep these parts of the law? They're under grace, I guess. I think it's either grace or they can't do it outside of the land, or it just I don't know. I don't know what they be making up. We're gonna find out. I'm pretty sure they're gonna respond. But we see that this right here is the book of the covenant. So you cannot have the covenant separated from the governing body of the covenant. So the laws go directly with the covenant. Okay, so now you go down to verse 12. And the Lord said unto Moses, come up to me in the mount and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone and a law and commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. I will give thee tables of stone and a law a Torah and commandments, a command, whether human or divine, collectively the law, ordinance, or precepts. So I will give thee a table of stone, mason. I will give thee a Torah and commandments, all on the tables. So verse 12, all on the tables, right? So we have the table having the law and the stones and etc. So now let's jump. Because we know in Leviticus they finally deal with the priesthood. And let's go to Deuteronomy real fast. So we just read some of the covenant. So Deuteronomy 28, 1, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and do all his commandments, he only gave him 10, which I commanded thee this day, that the Lord thy God would set thee on high above all nations on the earth. And all these blessings shall come unto thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Verse 15, but it shall come to pass that if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So now, this is the first time that we're introduced. You have all of these different covenants. Everybody lived in righteousness. There was no backfire. This is the first time that's introduced backfire for not doing the covenant. So now, if you do not do what I ask you to do, then you are going to be cursed. And he goes through all of the curses that they're going to be cursed with. So now, there's no need to go through those curses. Just know that it's there. So, once you go to Deuteronomy 29 and 1, these are the words of the covenant. So, that covenant, the words of the covenant, that covenant had the laws statutes, commandments, judgments, and ordinances, all in one covenant. And you had to do all of them. Once again, you had to do all of them. See, we just went through some of the judgment. We didn't go through what the Levitical priesthood had to do and what the people had to offer into the Levites. And then we didn't go through some of the ordinances dealing with the feast days and how they had to do certain sacrifices for the feast days and how they had to interact with the strangers in the feast days and all that. So it was a lot of things that Israel had to do in order to be under this covenant. This covenant had curses and blessings inside of it. Okay? It had the laws inside of it. You cannot separate the laws from the covenant. It goes hand in hand. All of it is together in one body. So now, all of those things was the words of that covenant. And let's keep reading. And Moses called unto all Israel and said unto them, Ye have seen all that the Lord did before your eyes in the land of Egypt unto Pharaoh, and unto all his servants, and unto all his land. The great temptations which thine eyes have seen, the signs, and those great miracles. Yet the Lord hath not given you an heart to perceive, and eyes to see, and ears to hear unto this day. So even though you saw all the things that you saw, and I gave you the covenant, and you agreed with the covenant, you do not understand what you were agreeing to. Okay? Now, let's go to Deuteronomy 30. And it should come to pass, 30:1, it should come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee, and shall return unto the Lord thy God, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. So now we have the introduction to specific commandments, specific ordinances, specific judgments. They had to do things in order to stay in a covenantal relationship with the Father. Because in the beginning, all they had to do was be righteous. But as they murmured and kept murmuring in the wilderness, he kept adding more and more laws to them. But let's go to 30:5 and 6. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. Now, and the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart. This is the first time that we see something. This is the first time we see the new covenant being introduced. And the heart of thy seed to love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. So now we have a new covenant reference dealing with after Israel is destroyed and scattered. We have now a new covenant reference after that. But we're not going to hit the new covenant real just like that. Let's go to Deuteronomy 31:20. 29. For I know that after my death you will utterly corrupt yourselves and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you. And evil will befall you in the latter days, because you will do evil in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands. So now we have Moses saying, I know that y'all agreed to do all of those things in that covenant, in this covenant that I'm presenting to you. I know you agreed to it, but after I die, as time prolongs, you will go against this covenant. You will go against these laws, statutes, ordinances. You're going to go against them and you're going to do evil. You're going to do evil. I know you are. And he said, and evil will befall you in the latter days. And then as you go to 32, which is the Song of Moses, I skip down to 20. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. They are a very forward generation. Children is whom is no faith. Faith, new covenant thing. Children, no faith. These children don't have the new covenant. These are the Mosaic covenant people right now. They don't have opportunity. They don't see or understand what the Mosaic covenant was all about to get them to the new covenant. But anyway, verse 22, for fire is kindled in my anger and shall burn into the lowest of hell. I will heap mischiefs upon them. They shall be burnt with hunger. The sword without, terror within, shall destroy both the young man and the virgin. I said I will scatter them into corners, for they are a nation void of counsel. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, they would consider their latter end. So we have all of the things that's going against Israel in this covenant. 41. If I wield my glittering sword and mine hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to mine enemies and will reward them that hate me. These are the people that's disobeying the covenant. So now, we're talking covenant things right now. We're talking law. So, another tidbit. I told y'all this is going to take a while. How you doing, Brother Darren? I told y'all this was going to take a while. So this is, in fact, going to take a while. Hope you got your popcorn. So now, let's go to Josephus now. Dealing with a little bit of what we just read. We know that Josephus was a priest living in the 1st century. He was 100% Israelite. He came from 100% family of priests. He was not a heathen. He knew all things dealing with the Second Temple worship services. So he had a better clue of how the law operated compared to people in America today. Telling you don't listen to Josephus. So now, let's go to Antiquities of the Jews, Book 3, Chapter 5, Section 4. When he had said this, he brought the people with their wives so near the mountain, that they may hear God himself speaking to them about the precepts. So once again, precepts are commandments. Okay, everybody? Precepts are commandments. They're not random verses that you jump around, try to put together, piece together, saying that this goes with this, and you're taking verses all out of context. No, precepts are commandments. So now, that they might hear God himself speaking to them about the precepts, which they were to practice. that the energy of what should be spoken might not be hurt by its utterance by that tongue of a man, which could be imperfectly deliver it to their understanding, which could but imperfectly deliver it to their understanding. And they all heard a voice that came to all of them from above, insomuch that no one of these words escaped them, which Moses wrote in 2 tables, which it is not lawful for us to set down directly, but their import will we declare. Now let's read. The first commandment teaches us that there is but one God, and that we ought to worship him only. The second commands us to not to make an image of any living creature to worship it. The third, that we must not swear by God in a false manner. The fourth, that we must keep the seventh day by resting from all sort of work. The fifth, that we must honor our parents. The sixth, that we must abstain from murder. The seventh, that we must not commit adultery. The eighth, that we must not be guilty of theft. The ninth, that we must not bear false witness. The 10th, that we must not omit of the desire of anything that is others. Now when the multitude have heard God himself giving those precepts, once again, precepts are commandments, nothing else except commandments, which Moses had discoursed of, they rejoiced at what was said, and the congregation was dissolved. Now look what happened. Let's look what happened. But on the following days, so now, the Israelites, they got the 10 commandments, right? They got the 10 commandments. But on the following days, they came to his tent and desired him to bring them besides other laws from God. So now, he gave them the 10 commandments, period. That was the precepts that they were supposed to follow, the 10 commandments. But Israel, those stiff-necked people, came days later and asked Moses for more laws than what they had just received. So Israel wanted more laws. The Father only had 10 commandments for them. Israel asked for more laws. Let's read it just in case again. Now when the multitude have heard God himself giving those precepts, precepts mean commandments, nothing else, more, which Moses had discoursed of, they rejoiced at what was said, and the congregation was dissolved. But on the following days, they came to his tent and desired him to bring them besides other laws from God. So what did Moses do? Accordingly, he appointed such laws. So no, it wasn't the Father's original goal for Israel to have those 660 odd laws. In the beginning, he just wanted them to have the 10 commandments. These are the same moral codes that everybody had except dealing with the Sabbath day. So these are the same moral codes that everybody had in their covenants. So this is nothing new. Israel didn't get anything different than what everybody got before this. The only difference was Israel wanted more. They wanted more. Everybody else was good with the righteousness and the moral codes that the Father had gave them. Okay, don't kill, don't steal, don't no raping, honor the father and mother. They was cool with that. Everybody, Abraham, Isaac, Noah, Adam, they all was cool with those moral codes. Israel said, hey, we want more laws, and guess what? They got more laws. But then they agreed to the more laws, and then they didn't do the more laws after they asked for them. But anyway, and afterwards informed them in what manner they should act in all cases. So he gave them the manner that they should act in all cases, which laws I should make mention of in their proper time. but I shall reserve most of those laws for another work. So now, I want to go to Josephus 4. Let's go to Josephus 4. Book 4, chapter 8. And section 5. When you have possessed yourself the land of Canaan and have leisure to enjoy the good things of it, and when you have afterward determined to build cities, if you will do what is pleasing to God, you will have a secure state of happiness. So if you do what's pleasing to God, you will have a secure state of happiness. Let there be then one city of the land of Canaan, and this situate in the most agreeable place for its goodness, and very eminent in itself. And let it be that which God shall choose for himself by prophetic revelation. Let there be one temple therein, and one altar, not reared of hewn stones, but of such as you gather together at random. We have that. He that blasphemeth God, let him be stoned, and let him hang upon a tree all that day. And then let him be buried in the ignominious and obscure manner. I don't know what that ignominious is, but anyway, let those that live. Let's get into some laws. You are not to offer sacrifices out of the hire of a woman, which is an harlot, for the deity is not pleased with anything that arises from such abusive nature. We knew that already. In like manner, one take the price of the covenant. Temple. Let not any one of you wear a garment made of woolen and linen, for that is appointed to be for the priest alone. When the multitude are assembled together into the holy city for sacrificing, every 7th year at the Feast of Tabernacles, let the high priest stand upon an high deck, whence he may be heard, and let him read the laws to all the people. Once again, this was laws that had to be done. You did not have a choice. You did not have you did not have any excuses. You had to do these things. And let neither the women nor the children be hindered from hearing, nor the servant neither. For it is a good thing that those laws should be engraven in their souls and preserved in their memories, that so it may not be possible to blot them out. So they understood. They had all of the laws memorized. They started at childhood and worked their way up. The men and the women had the laws memorized. For by this means they will not be guilty of sin when they cannot plead ignorance of what the laws have enjoined them. So there's no pleading of ignorance if you are Israel. You can't plead ignorance saying you don't know the law. Not at all. So now, this law also will have a great authority among them as for telling what they would suffer if they break them. And look, and imprinting in their souls by hearing what they command them to do. So it was imprinted on their inward parts. So what the new covenant said, I was going to put my laws on your inward part. But in the Mosaic covenant, these laws was imprinted on their inward parts also by hearing what was commanded to them. In the new covenant, I will put my laws on your heart. No man would teach you to know me. On this one, the laws was on the inward part from hearing the word. But the imprinting is so strong because it was a part of them. So that means that all day, every day, They were being judged by the law. Once again, all day, every day, day 1 through day 7, they were being judged by the law. Now, I don't know if anybody think that they can do that, but that's a hard pill to swallow. That so there may always be within their minds that attention of the laws which they have despised and broken, and have thereby been the causes of their own mischief. Let the children also learn the laws as the first thing they are taught. So all my law-keeping people over here in America, you're supposed to be teaching your children the law. This should be the first thing they are taught. Before they even really know your name and all that stuff, you're supposed to be teaching them the law. Let me close that. All right. Which will be the best thing they can be taught, and will be the cause of their future felicity. Let's see here. Let there be 7 men to judge in every city, and these such have been before the most zealous in the exercise of virtue and righteousness. Let every judge have 2 officers allotted out of the tribe of Levi. Let those that are chosen to judge, and I ain't need to even read that because nobody even knows who Levi is today, or nobody has no cities to put 7 judges in, so there's no need to go through all of that. I guess I want to go up here though. Let's go to here. I just want to read this real fast. As for those laws which Moses left concerning our common conversation and intercourse one with another, I have reserved that for a discourse concerning our manner of life, and the occasion of those laws which are prepared. No, that's not what I wanted. Let me see real fast. Hold on, here we go. That's 3. Well, I guess I can start right here. When he gave them the laws and the constitution of government written in a book. So the law of Moses was the constitution of government that governed Israel. So the law of Moses was the governmental body in that covenant. You cannot separate it. Once again, the laws of Moses was their governmental body in that covenant. So, if the law of Moses leaves, the covenant leaves. If that covenant leaves, the law of Moses leaves, because they go hand in hand. Let's see right here. However, Moses gave them some consolation, and by calling them off that they thought how worthy he was of their weeping of him, he exhorted them to keep that form of government he had given them, and the congregation was dissolved at that time. Accordingly, I shall now first describe this form of government, which was agreeable to the dignity and virtue of Moses. So, hopefully everybody is understanding that the law of Moses was not considered more of a religious aspect. It was considered more of a governmental aspect. It was meant for governing the land, governing the people. And with that governing body, you have what we call curses also. But let's see here. Let's see if I can find some. I'm just going to read some of the governmental things that deal with the law of Moses. Since everybody said they're keeping it, I'm just gonna go through some of the things that Josephus expound on, which you cannot find in the scriptures because the scriptures gave an overview, and Josephus getting a little detail. So now, let the Hebrews marry at the age fit for it, virgins that are free and born of good parents. So you're supposed to be marrying virgins at a good age. And he that does not marry a virgin, let him not corrupt another man's wife and marry her. So if you don't marry a virgin, it can't be somebody else's wife. Nor grieve her former husband. Nor let free men marry slaves, although their affection should be strongly biased of them that do so. For it is decent, and for the dignity of the persons themselves, to govern those that are with affection. And father, no one ought to marry an harlot, whose matrimonial oblations arising from the prostitution of her body, God will not receive. Let's see here. But if the damsel is convicted as having been corrupted as one of the common people, let her be stoned, because she did not preserve her virginity till she was lawfully married. I don't want to read this. Pretty much killing women. But it's one thing that I want to give out. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. I gotta find something real fast. Uh, there was something for my ladies. I thought I had it underlined. I'm going through my book also. Well, I guess we can go to 23. Let's see here. If a woman's husband die and leave her without children, let his brother marry her, and let him call the son that is born to him by his brother's name, and educate him as the heir of his inheritance. For this procedure will be for the benefit of the public, because thereby families will not fail, and the estate will continue among the kindred. And this will be for the solace of wives under their affliction, that they are to be married to the next relations of their former husbands. So we have that. That's not what I was looking for, though. I was looking for the witnesses. One second, I'm gonna see if I can find the witnesses. I thought I had it underlined, but I guess I didn't. It was saying that women cannot give testimonies. Once again, it was saying women cannot give testimonies. Women nor slaves could give testimonies. I want to find it, though, to show y'all this. And the crazy part was I was looking at it and I thought I had it underlined. Maybe I didn't go back far enough. Let's see. Sacrifice. Yeah, here. Yeah, I didn't go back far enough. Let's go back. Let's go to 15. Um, but let not a okay, but let not a single witness be credited, but 3 or 2 at the least, and those such whose testimony is confirmed by their good lives. So you got to be a good person in order to pretty much be a good witness. But let not the testimony of women be omitted. So for all my women out there, all my women, yay, you will not be giving no testimonies at all. But let not the testimony of women be omitted on account of the levity and boldness of their sex, nor let servants be omitted to give testimony on account of the ignobility of their souls, since 'tis probable that they may not speak truth, either out of hope of gain or fear of punishment. So, no servants, no women. So now, let me skip. Because y'all know I'm reading all the things dealing with the law, and I know y'all thinking, hey, this ain't that bad. All right, let's see here. Now I'm going to get out of Josephus in just a second, trying to see if there was something else I came across. I know they want to read about the women wearing pants, so I want to go through that too. In the law, could women wear pants? All right, let's go to 44. Before we get to the women wearing pants or whatever, well, I always get to it. 43. So this is about battle. This is about battling. Okay, when you have pitched your camp, take care you do nothing that is cruel. And when you are engaged in a siege and want timber for making a warlike engines, do not render the land naked by cutting down trees that bear fruit, but spare them, as considering that they was for the benefit of men. So this is dealing with war. Take care, especially in your battles, that no woman use the habit of a man, nor man the garment of a woman. So women cannot act like men, have the battle array of men on, cannot be generals and etc. And men cannot wear women garment. That is it. It's nothing about wearing pants. This is the original idea. This was the form of political government which was left us by Moses. Moreover, he had already delivered laws in writing in the 40th year as they came out of Egypt, concerning which will be discoursed in another book. But now on the following days, for he called them to assemble continually, he delivered blessings to them and curses upon them that should not live according to the laws, but should transgress the duties that were determined for them to observe. After this, he read to them a poetic song, which was composed of hexameter verse, and left it to them in the holy book. It contained a prediction of what was to come to pass afterward. So that's the Song of Moses, Deuteronomy 32. Agreeably, whereto all things have happened all along, and do still happen to us. So Josephus said it was still happening in his day, and wherein he was not at all deviated from the truth. Accordingly, he delivered these books to the priests with the ark, into which he put the 10 Commandments written in 2 tables. He delivered the tabernacles also. So we have the 10 Commandments right there. Let's see here. After this, curses were denounced upon those that should transgress those laws. They answering one another alternately by way of confirmation of what had been said. Moses also wrote their blessings and their curses, that they might learn them so thoroughly that they might never be forgotten by length of time. And when he was ready to die, he wrote the blessings and curses upon the altar on each side. So you pretty much can see that they knew about the blessings and the curses. They knew it, so it wasn't nothing new. Um, let's see. And we know that this was the governing body that they were supposed to use. Let's see if we can finish it. All right, so we have all things dealing with the Mosaic covenant. Now, we could have went into details and it would have lasted hours about all of the things that was easy to do when people in America feel like, oh man, I can do that. There's nothing to it. The Mosaic covenant is a piece of cake, even though people living actually back then who actually saw the Father wasn't able to do it. But now, we have all understanding about the Mosaic covenant now. So hopefully we having a feeling about the Mosaic covenant. So now let's go into Jeremiah 31. And 31 and 32. I'll make sure I ain't passing around anything. One second, trying to make sure I ain't. Alright, so now we have Jeremiah 31 and 31. Behold, the days come, said the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. So now, we read all of the things dealing with the Mosaic covenant. We read all of the, well, we didn't read all of the curses and all of the blessings, but we read some of the ridiculous things dealing with the Mosaic covenant, but we read some of the things that wasn't ridiculous. It was supposed to be making them a good people, a priestly people, but that wasn't the final goal. See, the point of tonight isn't about stressing how bad the Mosaic covenant is. No, not at all. The Mosaic covenant came from the Father. It's not about stressing how bad the Mosaic covenant is. It's about stressing whether we are in the Mosaic covenant in 2019 in America. Is the covenant bye-bye, RIP, or are we still in the covenant today? That's the point of this whole thing. So I had to go through and read things dealing with the covenant or the law, because people don't really do that. So now we read some of the good and the bad and the ugly and some of the fantastic. So now that wasn't the final plan. This is the final plan, the new covenant. So let's read the new covenant. Behold, the days come, said the Lord, that I will make a new covenant. So this is future tense. They're in the Mosaic covenant right now, speaking of a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Not according to that covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, said the Lord. So now, he said, this new covenant is, and I don't know why people skip this, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers. So, we just read the covenant that he made with their fathers. We just read it. Okay? We just read it. We went over about an hour, probably over an hour, but we went over the covenant that he made with their fathers. So, everything we went over, the new covenant is not like that. Once again, the new covenant is not like that. So, the end goal was going to be a covenant unlike the one I gave to you coming out of Egypt. I'm going to give you a new covenant. So, that being, we got to understand that first. A new covenant was the plan. So now, do we got to do the law of Moses today or what? Well, the law of Moses was in that covenant. So now, we see the promise of a new covenant. So now let's do have a book, kinship covenant and understanding the whole Bible. Let's see if we can get y'all some links real fast. See if we can get y'all some links. All right, so you got the kinship by covenant. You can get it for $32. When I got it, it was higher. So you can get it for $32. The kinship covenant, a canonical approach to the fulfillment of God's saving promises. It's all about covenants, breaking down covenants. And then I got understanding the whole Bible. Understanding the whole Bible by Jonathan Webb. Right here, you can see how much this bad boy cost me. I got this one $70. So one of them, the other one cost me about 50. It went down a lot, but I got this one for $70. I got the hardcover and the other one. So now, pick these up. They're good reads if you have a little extra paper. So now, got the kinship covenant, and I got the understanding the whole Bible. So, if people want to talk covenants, and the law of Moses this and the law of Moses that, then we must understand what covenants are. So I'm just going to read a few things out of the covenant book. First of all, I'm going to read kinship by covenant first. It says the definition and typology of covenant. I'm not going to read all of them. I'm just going to read introduction, page 29. It says a manner of distribution of covenant obligations between the covenantal parties is the key to the typology of covenants. So now it goes through the different covenants. You have one called the kinship covenant. The obligations of the covenant are more or less equally distributed between the two parties. In such a covenant, the parties are usually, but not always, themselves of equal status. Thus, this type of relationship is frequently called parity or parity covenant. The treatment covenant. 2. The obligations of the covenant are imposed on the inferior party by the superior. Scholars have often termed this arrangement a vassal treaty, vassal covenant, or treaty type covenant because of the vassal treaties of the 7th century Assyrian emperor Ashur-haddon have been considered the paradigmatic examples of this form. In this study, a vassal treaty covenant will be referred to as a simple treaty or treaty type covenant. And 3, the grant covenant. The obligations of the covenant rest predominantly with the superior party, who freely accepts responsibilities towards the inferior, usually in response to the inferior's faithfulness, or other meritorious qualities. The initiative is establishing a covenant of this form also rests with the superior. It is generally granted as a reward to a faithful vassal or servant, thus the name. Scholars have employed the term royal grant or grant type to this covenant form, largely because of Moshe Winfield's work identifying various ancient Near Eastern royal land grants as the quintessential examples of this covenantal type. So now, in this study, the terms kinship, treaty, and grant will be used for the three covenant types. However, it was rarely omitted. Let's see. So now, you have three different type of covenants. The best covenant to be in is the grant covenant, because in the grant type of covenant, the superior party, this will be the father, he accepts all responsibilities. You don't have to do nothing but be faithful to him, and he has all the responsibilities. This will be the type of covenant that the new covenant is. All right, let's see here. Now I'm going to go to page 264, Galatians 3:19 through 22, the Mosaic covenant law added for transgressors. At this point of his discourse, Paul had argued for a radically different view of salvation history from that of his Judaizing opponents. The foundational covenant with God's people was not at Sinai, but at Moriah. Paul must now explain the purpose of the Mosaic legislations are, if it was not to establish the fundamental relationship between God and Israel. Why then the law, says Paul? It was added because of transgression. So, in the beginning, the Most High wanted them to be kings, or wanted them to be priests, but he had to add on all of those laws and things because of the transgression of Israel. That law of Moses was not the perfect covenant because those laws were only there because Israel transgressed. Okay. That was on page 265. And y'all know that from the Bible. All right, so now let's look at God disinherits the circumcised seed of Abraham. 272. Galatians 4:21 through 31 is the climax to the probatio which Paul lays out in Galatians 3 and 4. Paul begins this section by posing a rhetorical question with a sharp, sarcastic edge. Tell me, you who desire to be under law, do you not hear the law? For it is written that Abraham had two sons, one by a slave and one by a free woman. But the son of the slave was born according to the flesh, the son of the free woman through promise. Galatians 4:21 through 23. Paul employs a negative charge terms, son of the slave, according to the flesh, that allude to portions of the Genesis narrative where Ishmael and the circumcision covenant are featured. Genesis 16, 17, 21. On the one hand, Paul wants his readers to link the Judaized Gentiles with Ishmael and his sorry fate. Both represent attempts to produce heirs for Abraham by human, natural or fleshly means. Ishmael through concubinage, the Gentiles through circumcision. Both accept circumcision as adult. Ishmael at 13 in Genesis 17. Both are nonetheless disinherited. On the other hand, Gentile latecomers are meant to be associated with the late incoming Abrahamic son of promise, Isaac, Christ. Both became heirs of Abraham by supernatural means. Isaac by supernatural birth to Sarah, the Gentiles by the supernatural birth of baptism. Both received the inheritance, the promise of blessing to the Gentiles. Genesis 22 and 18. And now we have page 319. We got the Old Covenant and New Covenant. So now, I want to start reading with the Old Covenant. Christ thus fulfills the Old Covenant by bearing the curse of death as a faithful firstborn Son of God, the royal high priest, thereby performing the vocation that Israel first accepted, Exodus 19 and 24, and then spurned with the golden calf, Exodus 32. The author thus presents the New Covenant as the only true and perfect renewal of the Old. God establishes one covenant which is broken but mercifully renewed and faithfully fulfilled in Christ. In order to do so, however, Christ had to realize, as high priest of the new covenant, which what the high priest of the old covenant only acted out on the day of atonement. A curse-bearing sacrifice that truly renews and fulfills the covenant. The death of Christ becomes a soteriological Janus. It is simultaneously the experience and expiation of the curse of death of the old covenant and the inaugural sacrifice that ratifies the new covenant. So with Christ's death, he took out the old, brought in the new. But it was a progression. Hebrews 9:15 succinctly states the author's fundamental understanding of how Christ inaugurates a new covenant. 15a. Therefore, he is the mediator of a new covenant. 15b. So that those who are called may receive the promised eternal inheritance. 15c. Since a death has occurred which redeems them from the transgression under the first covenant. So, we have it right there. It's just the author breaking down. Moses' covenant was a more of a vassal covenant, and let me see here. More of a vassal or a treaty type covenant. If they are pretty much conditional covenant, if Israel did their part, then the Most High would do his part. You don't want to be in that type of covenant with the Most High, because then you have to do your part, and the Most High has to be judged over you. So this is how this works. If you do something wrong, the Most High has to judge your actions. But when he judged your actions, he got to judge the people he used in order to judge you. So, in other words, he had to be your judge and your protector. So that always had the Most High at odds with people. Hold on, y'all. So the Most High was always at odds with people. So, yeah, keep going. Hey. Baby, can you take them to the back until I'm done? Y'all go to the back till I'm done. Sorry, y'all got a little, I thought they was going to be going a little longer. So now I'm going to be in this one now. Understanding the whole Bible. I'm going to be on page 102. And it has the new covenant laws by the age of faith. But no, I'm not. Sorry, y'all. It's going to get loud. So now, connection to the new covenant. I'm just going to start at the Davidic covenant, or David's covenant, page 240, with connection to the new covenant. Matthew 1:1 begins the New Testament with these words. This is the genealogy of Jesus the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham. This is the beginning of the canon of the new covenant, and it begins with a reference back to David and Abraham. These two recipients of grant covenants. So we just read what the grant covenant was in the Old Testament. Let's see if we can go back to a grant covenant. These two recipients are of grant covenants. Grant covenant. The obligation of the covenant rests predominantly with the superior party, who freely accepts responsibility towards the inferior. So the Most High has all. He takes all the risks. Mankind don't have to take any risks. That's the type of covenant that David and Abraham had. The Mosaic covenant was not like this. This is why the new covenant is so important. You got to understand your covenants to see how gracious the Father is. But now, the new covenant was inaugurated around the Last Supper and Jesus' death on the cross. But Matthew 1:1 is the beginning of the story of the new covenant. And here it specifically connects the new covenant to the Abrahamic and David covenant by saying Jesus the Messiah is the son of David and the son of Abraham. In other words, he is the fulfillment of the promises made to Abraham and David. Then Matthew provides the lineage from David to Jesus to prove that he was a literal, natural son of David. He was not a symbolic son of David, but a flesh and blood son. Luke also demonstrates this in his genealogy. Jesus is the prophesied and promised son of David. Then we have the new covenant ram. Finally, we have the new covenant ram, which is the current reformation in the church. Page 336. Over the last half century, the church has come to a healthier and more biblical view of kingdom expansion and what it means to bring heaven to earth. This is very important, but the new covenant ram is another step in the direction we are headed. Part of what people miss is they do not live in the new covenant realm. Part of what people miss is they do not live in the new covenant realm, is knowing the heart of God the Father toward them. One of the most obvious evidence is the way that people live in any of the previous three realms tend to respond to tragedy or natural disaster. When a terrible event happens, these people do not know whether it's caused by God, the devil, or human sin. They ask, was it judgment, wrath, or something else? The reason they do not understand is because they do not understand that God acts in accordance with the covenant he is in. Because they do not understand the progression of the covenants, they do not know how to differentiate between the way God acted within the old covenant versus the new. In other words, when people say God doesn't change, then it's absolutely incorrect because he does not deal with people the same way in each covenant. I have been saying that for a while. And I'm glad that this book actually helped brings it out. He do not deal with individuals in the same covenant in the same way. That's on page 337. But now, so we see that a new covenant, a new grant covenant is supposed to come to mankind. So, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let's talk about trifle. Now, trifle, let's see if we can find out some information about trifle. Hold on, let's see if I have anything, any messages. They done talking. Okay. Oh, let's see here. All right, so now, trifle. Let's see what we can find this date. Between 150, 155 CE, 167. So no longer than 167 CE. About 100 years after the destruction of the temple. Okay. So now we have Trifle dialoguing. Sorry, Trifle is a Jew, 100% Jew. And he's dialoguing with Justin Martyr, who is a Gentile. So you have a real-life Jew and Gentile dialogue about 100 years after the destruction of the temple. So, this is very important because guess what they're going to be talking about? The law. So, let's see what they came up with. And in my book, let me get y'all around here. I have the Anti-Nicene Fathers book. And I'm going to, it's on page 199, but I'm going to be showing you on this right here so you can follow along. So now, my book has the law abrogated, the New Testament promise and given by God. So it says the law abrogated. The law abrogated. I want to look up the word abrogate. Abrogate definition. It means to repel or do away with. And it has a law, right, or formal agreement. Evade a responsibility or duty. So, this is what we've been waiting on. This is the nitty gritty. This is down to the meat. Are we supposed to be doing the law in 2019? Well, let's look at a conversation that happened about 1900, 2,000 years ago between a Gentile and a real-life Jew. And let's see how the conversation goes. See if I can make it a little bigger. It says, this is chapter 11. There will never be any other God, Trifo. Don't forget, Trifo is the Jew. And there never was from all eternity. So said I to him, save he who made and established this universe. Nor do we, this will be the Christians, consider that we have one God, and you, this will be the Israelites, another. But him only who brought your fathers out of the land of Egypt by a mighty hand and a stretched out arm. Nor have we set our hopes on any other, for there is none, but only on him on whom you also have set yours, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yet our hope is set on him, not by means of Moses, nor by means of the law. We finna hit it. We finna hit it now. This is what we're trying to boil it down to. We had to get all the nitty gritty out the way first. Now we're finna go through whether we got to do the law today or not. For then, now I don't agree with everything Justin Martyr says. Let me get it out the way. He was a futurist, and he didn't understand the fulfillment of Christ in 70 AD. But he had some scriptorial knowledge, and I like the scriptorial knowledge he had. So we're going to roll with that. For then, we should assuredly be doing the same for you. For in fact, I have read, Trifo, that there is both a final law, 2, and a disposition that is superior. So let's see what 2. A final law, right here. A final law, namely Christ himself, a little lower down and in blah, blah, blah. Not Christ's word, the Sermon on the Mount. This is the only definition fully congruent with Christianity, but elsewhere it regards Christ as the new legislator. So the final law will be Christ, and the disposition, dedicate, to translate the word by covenant, is misleading, for that implies more cooperation than mere receiving. Testament is also inaccurate, for though a dedicate is often, perhaps generally used for disposition of property, which become effective at the death of a testator, it is not always so. Well, regardless of what it means, there's a final law in the deposition that is superior to all others, which must now be observed by all those who claim to be the inheritance of God. So now, for the law given in Horeb is already antiquated and belongs to you alone, but that other belongs to all men absolutely. So now, that law was only for the Israelites, but this new law is for all men. And a law set over against the law has made the one before it to cease. So the new law set against the old law has made the old law to vanish. And the disposition coming into existence afterwards has in like manner limited any former one. And as an eternal and final law was Christ given to us. And this disposition is sure, after which there is no law or ordinance or command. And then he gives a quote from Isaiah, which I'm going to read in just a second. But right here, we see that Justin is telling Trifle the Old Testament law was only for you guys, but the rest of the mankind had the new covenant. And the new covenant has made that old covenant leave. It has done away with that old covenant. So now he's going to quote from Isaiah. Or have you not read what Isaiah says? Hear ye me, O people, and ye kings hearken unto me. For a law should go forth from me, and my judgment for a light of the nations. My righteousness draweth nigh speedily, and my salvation shall go forth, and all nations shall set their hope on my arm. And he speaks thus by Jeremiah about the same new disposition. Behold, the days come, said the Lord, that I will make a new disposition with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Not that which I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by their hand to lead them forth out of the land of Egypt. So now, Isaiah 51 and 4. Isaiah 51 and 4. Let's see if it's in my... Let me get my King James Version Bible. Oh, I got it right here. Isaiah 51 and 4. It says, hearken unto me, my people, and give ear unto me, O my nation. For a law shall proceed from me. So now, what do we have here? Why is this so important? Because the Mosaic covenant and the law of Moses was already in effect. Once again, the law of Moses was already in effect when Isaiah was making this prophecy. So, this new law that was going to come forth is dealing with only the new covenant, the new covenantal system. So, hearken unto me, my people, and give ear unto me, O my nation. For a law shall proceed from me. This is the new covenant. And I will make my judgment to rest for a light of thy righteousness. Hold on, y'all. One second. So now, to rest for a light of the people. My righteousness is near, my salvation is gone forth, and mine arm shall judge the people. The isle shall wait upon me, and upon mine arm shall they trust. This is all. I'm going to keep reading. Lift up your eyes to the heavens and look upon the earth beneath. For the heavens shall vanish away like smoke, and the earth shall wax like old garments. But they that dwell therein shall die in like manner. But my salvation shall be forever, and my righteousness shall not be abolished. This is the gospel. This is the a prophecy dealing with the gospel in Isaiah. Isaiah 51 is talking about the new covenant. See, a lot of people want to take you to Jeremiah 31, 34, 31, 33, 31. No, there's plenty of verses out there that deal with the new covenant and the new law. Y'all talking about the law of Moses, and we have these prophets prophesying about a new law. So Isaiah 51, 4 through 7 deals with the new law, the law of Moses. Let me read Isaiah 51 and 7. The law of Christ, the new law, not the law of Moses. Isaiah 51 and 7. Hearken unto me, ye that know righteousness, the people in whose heart is my law. What did he say? I'm going to write in the new covenant, I'm going to write my law on their heart. This is talking about the new covenant. Whom ye not reproach of men, neither be ye afraid of their revelings. So now, once you go to Isaiah 2 and 3, Isaiah 2, because now we get down to the nitty gritty. Isaiah 2, let's read 1 and let's read 1 through 3. The word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. It should come to pass in the last days. So this is the last days. This is the fourth beast. Okay? Fourth beast. That the mountain of the Lord house shall be established on the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow to it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of Jacob, the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways. What's going to happen? And we will walk in his path, for out of Zion shall go forth the law. Once again, this is the last days. The new covenant was for the last days, not the Mosaic covenant. So this law is the new covenant law, not the Mosaic covenant law. This is the fourth beast, new covenant law through Christ, not no Moses law. This is the problem. People want to put Moses' law like it goes in every situation on every timeline. No, this is a new covenant thing. This lets you know that the new covenant will have its own law, not the law of Moses. But let's keep reading. That was it. And the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And how was the word of the Lord going through Jerusalem? Through the gospel. The gospel came in the last days, bringing forth the new covenant, the new kingdom. Therefore, the gospel has the new law in it. Not the law of Moses, but the new laws. But let's keep going, because now we get into the nitty gritty. Now we're finding out some things. So now, if therefore God proclaimed a new disposition, and this would be the word for law, as about to be established, and this for a light of the nations, we then see and are sure that by the name of him who was crucified, Jesus Christ, men part from idols and all other iniquity, and draw near to God, and make confessions of him, and worship enduring unto death. And from their works and the power that accompanies them, all can understand that he is the new law. Who is the new law? This is a conversation between a Christian and a Jew about 2,000 years ago. And the Christian is telling the Jew that Christ is the new law 2,000 years ago. So why are you talking about doing the law of Moses in 2019 and 100 AD? They knew that Christ was the law. Christ said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the resurrection. Christ is the law, not Moses. You can't get nothing through the law of Moses. You can eat no pork and no shrimps for the rest of your life, and it's still not going to give you no inheritance. It's not going to give you salvation. You're going to be just like these Jews were 2,000 years ago, walking around with a question mark on your head, talking about, I'm following the law of Moses. Christ is the new law. But let's keep reading. And the new disposition and the expectation of those from among all nations who await the good things that come to them at the hands of God. For we are the true and spiritual Israelitish nation, and the race of Judah and of Jacob and Isaac and Abraham, who when he was still uncircumcised, received witness from God for his faith, and was blessed, and was called father of many nations. So what is this guy saying here? He's saying here that Abraham received the gift and the promise without even being circumcised. But he's not even going to stop there. You got Noah. Noah received it without being circumcised. You got Adam. Adam received it without being uncircumcised. You got Melchizedek. Melchizedek, the priest and king, after the order of the Father, had his own order, who was the king and priest to the Father. He did not have circumcision. He did not have the law of Moses. So you have all of these individuals that was considered righteous. In fact, we're going to go through it when we go through the book of Hebrews. We're going to go through it. I say, are all this who brought nigh to God by him who was crucified, even Christ, as we be demonstrated in the course of our discussion. Let's see here. Let's go down to Jeremiah has cried. Well, I guess I can go. I continue my argument by bringing forth the fact that Isaiah cries aloud elsewhere. Hear ye my words, and your soul shall live. I will make for you an everlasting covenant. What is the everlasting covenant? The new covenant. Moses' covenant wasn't everlasting. There was a promise after Moses' covenant, I will make a new covenant. So the new covenant was the everlasting covenant, not Moses' covenant. So now, I will make an everlasting law. I hate that it got the word disposition there. Let's see if I can, just in case y'all think I'm making it up. Disposition definition. Disposition. Mood inclination. Administration control. Settlement. An orderly arrangement. For some reason, it don't have the word law there. In my book, it has the word law. It don't say disposition. It says law. So I'm just going to put law there because that's what it says in my book. I continue my argument by bringing forward the fact that Isaiah cries aloud. Well, I guess we can go there. Where is it? It says 3. We can go there in our Bible, can't we? Isaiah 55, 3-5. Isaiah 55, 3-5. We just can read it right here. Isaiah 55, 3-5. Isaiah 55, 3-5. Incline your ear and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live. I will make an everlasting covenant. Okay, so that word wasn't law, it was covenant. I will make a. Let me see what my book says. Yes, it says covenant. I was saying the wrong word. Well, you can't have covenant without law. But anyway, I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David. So, this cannot be the Mosaic covenant because the Mosaic covenant wasn't everlasting. It was supposed to be replaced by the new covenant. What was supposed to replace the new covenant? Nothing. So, the new covenant is the everlasting covenant. Behold, I have given him for a witness to the people, a leader and a commander to the people. Behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and nations that knew not thee shall run unto thee, because the Lord thy God and for the Holy One of Israel, for he hath glorified thee. This is all about Christianity. This is all about the new covenant. This is all about those Gentiles who did not have a relationship with the Father. Through the new covenant, they get a relationship with the Father, and they go through the promises of Israel. The promises of Israel gets taken over to the spiritual Israel, which the Gentiles can be a part of. But we see the correlation. We see what's going on. It's all about the new covenant. So disposition means covenant. Okay. I guess that's why it's capitalized. Oh, yeah, because we got the word law right there. So now, him himself, who is the law, Christ is the law, you dishonor. And his new holy covenant, you despise. So, once again, they had the new covenant. They were thinking they were in the new covenant about 2,000 years ago. So what are you talking about the law of Moses ain't done away with? The law of Moses we have already seen. That was the governing body of the Mosaic covenant or that old covenant. The law of Moses was the governing body of that old covenant. This new covenant has an entirely new governing body. You cannot be in the law of Moses in 2019. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. So now, and not even now do you receive him or repent, though you did so ill. For your ears are still stopped up, your eyes callous, and your heart waxed fat. Let's see if we have anything else. Let's see here. This is hard to keep up with. Sorry, y'all. This is hard to keep up with. I started right there. Jeremiah has cried, and not even so do you hear. The lawgiver has come, and ye see him not. The poor have the gospel preached to them. The blind have their sight, and ye understand not. So now, the gospel preached comes from the lawgiver. The law of the lawgiver is the gospel. A second circumcision is now necessary, and ye are making much of your flesh. The new law wishes you to keep Sabbath all the time, and you think you are acting piously by being lazy for one day, not considering the reason why it was commanded you. And if ye eat unleavened bread, ye say ye have fulfilled the will of God. It is not in these things that the Lord takes pleasure. If any among you is a false swearer or a thief, let him cease. Cease. If any an adulterer, let him repent. Then he has kept the delightsome and true Sabbaths of God, resting from wickedness. That's the true perpetual Sabbath. They was worried about doing it one day. We're supposed to do it every day. If any man has not clean hands, let him wash, then he is clean. So we have more things dealing with the law and how Justin was letting know that we were in fact in the new uh, covenant. Let's see here. And I think what I'm going to do is on my next video, I'm just going to go through a trifle, because you see it right here. I'm just going to go through, do a whole video just dealing with trifle and all the things that he said, dealing with the law. What we have a little proof right there that in the pretty much second century, going on the second century, well into the second century, they already knew that we was in the new covenant. So now let's go to a little bit more of scripture, and then we can call it a night. Let's go to 2 Corinthians. My mentor, Mr. William Bell, showed me this. 2 Corinthians 3. And it says, let's start with 6. Now that we are, let's start at 5. Now that we are sufficient of ourselves to think anything of ourselves, but our sufficiency is of God, who also has made us able ministers of the New Testament. So they was made ministers of the New Testament. Dedicate, properly a disposition. See, this is what we was reading out of that. The disposition which make covenant. But now, properly a disposition that is specifically a contract, especially a divisory, it's a divisory will. Covenant or testament. So it's a covenant. It's a testament. So we are ministers of the new covenant or will, not of the letter, but of the spirit, not of the outwardly, but of the inwardly. For the letter killeth, but the spirit gives life. For the letter killeth, but the spirit, let's see what we can have with the letter. The letter, grammar, writing, a letter, a note, an epistle, a book, learning, a bill, letter, scripture, writing, written. So that's why where grammar comes from. But it's a pretty much a letter or an epistle or a note. This is what pretty much what Moses left them. We read it in Josephus, he left them a book. But of the spirit, for the letter killeth, but the spirit gives life. But if the ministration of death, written and engraven in stones, was glorious. So we read about the ministration. What was given to them in stones? The 10 Commandments. So that the children of Israel could not steadfastly behold the face of Moses for the glory of his countenance, which glory was to be done away. So when he went up to the mount, he came down, his face was shining like a light bulb, but it was fading away. How shall not the ministration of the Spirit be rather glorious? For if the ministration of condemnation be glory, much more does the ministration of righteousness exceed in glory. Let's see here. Let's just keep reading down. For even that which was made glorious had no glory in this respect, by glory of the glory that excelleth. For if that which is done away was glorious, which was what this was representing Moses' ambiance when he came out of the mountain, as well as the covenant, much more that which remaineth is glorious. Seeing then that we have such hope, we use great plainness of speech, and not as Moses, which put a veil over his face, that the children of Israel could not steadfastly look to the end of that which is abolished. So they could not see that that Mosaic covenant was was leaving. They could not see it. The children of Israel could not see it. But their minds were blinded. For until this day, this is when he's talking to the Corinthians in their day, remained the same veil untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament, which veil is done away in Christ. So the veil just blocking them from understanding the Old Testament was going to leave was done away with Christ, or in Christ. Christ was able to open that veil up for that Old Testament to leave. But even until this day, when Moses is read, the veil is upon their heart. So that veil is upon their heart now. They can't see past the law of Moses. Nevertheless, this was back then, not now. We're in the new covenant now. Nevertheless, when it shall turn to the Lord, the veil shall be taken away. Now the Lord is that Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. No more curses dealing with the covenant and etc. Judgments. But we all, with open face, beholding as a glass the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same image from glory to glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord. So we're changed from glory to glory. Let me read this again. But we all, with open face, beholding as a glass in the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same image. So we're in the same image of Christ, from glory, old covenant, to glory, new covenant, even as the Spirit of the Lord. So now, and then you have, we read Galatians a few days ago. So let's try Hebrews. Let's see here. Hebrews. Then verily the first covenant also had ordinances of divine service and a worldly sanctuary. So I just want everybody to understand that right now he was talking about the old covenant. This was dealing with the Mosaic covenant. So once you go down to 15, 14. How much more shall the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offer himself without spot to God, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living God? And for this cause, he is the mediator of the New Testament. So we had a comparison. We have the Old Covenant. Now we have him being the mediator of the New Testament. So now, mediator, a go-between. Let's say enunciator, reconciler, intercessor, a mediator. So he's the go-between. He's the reconciler. So for this cause, he is the go-between of the New Testament, or the New Covenant, that by means of death for the redemption of transgressions that were under the First Testament. So all of the transgressions that was under the Mosaic Covenant was done away with through Christ. They which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance. For where A testament is there also of necessity be the death of the testator. For a testament is of force after men are dead. Otherwise it is no strength at all while the testator live. Whereupon neither the first testament was dedicated without blood. Let's see here. All right, so we got that. Let me see if I can find anything else. You can go to Hebrews 11, just to show real fast. By faith, Abel offered unto God, Abel not circumcised, not in the law of Moses. By faith, Enoch, not circumcised, not in the law of Moses. Noah, not circumcised, not in the law of Moses. Abraham wasn't circumcised or in the law of Moses. So, you have all these fantastic people that was not circumcised or in the law of Moses. Abraham got circumcised later on. But I'm trying to look for one more thing, then we'll be done. You can go to Hebrews 7, 12. For the priesthood being changed, which it was in the new covenant, there is made a necessity of the change also of the law. Let's see what that law is. Law. Nomos, parcel, especially the food or grazing to animals, law, specifically of Moses, including the volume, also the gospel, or law. So pretty much dealing with the Torah. For the priesthood being changed, there is made a necessity also a change, there is made of necessity a change also of the law. So priesthood was changed, the law was changed. Went from the law of Moses to the new covenant law. Let's see here. Uh, 28, it says, for the law maketh men high priests, which have infirmity. But the word of the oath, which was since the law, maketh the Son, who is consecrated forevermore. Hebrews 8. For if the first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. So they were seeking the second one. For finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days come, said the Lord, I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel, with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers. So we see that. So we already read that, but now, and that he said, a new covenant he had made the first old. Now that which decayeth and waxes old is ready to vanish away. So you had the old covenant. It was decaying and waxing very old, and it was ready about 63 AD, something like that. When Hebrews was written, 68 AD, something like that, was ready to vanish away. So in the first century, that old covenant was ready to vanish away. But I still don't see how we have all these works dealing with how the new covenant was replacing the old covenant. You know, people still saying that we're under the law of Moses, dealing with the old covenant. And they try to put the old covenant things, the old covenant governing body in the new covenant. That's why I pulled from Josephus to show you that there was the governing of a body of Israel in that old covenant. The new covenant, which is a spiritual covenant, doesn't have a natural governing body. It was based off the spirit. Sacrifice was through the words of lips, through the praises of the mouth. The true fast was helping people out, abstaining from evil. True Sabbath was resting from evil. Uh, true obedience was through faith, and etc. All things dealing with the natural man, not the fleshly man. So hopefully that deals with it. Like I said, I knew it was going to be long, probably kind of boring to people because we had to go in there and actually look at some of the new covenant. I mean, the Mosaic covenant, and then we had to try to bring it on into the new covenant and etc. And it takes a while, but hopefully we have reached the understanding that the new, and it has it here, the new and better covenant. The new and better covenant was here, and it has all of the different covenants right there. But the new and better covenant has been here for about 2,000 years. And in my next video, I'm just going to go through the dialogue with Trifold. That's all I'm going to concentrate on. The dialogue with Trifold. And I want to start doing more videos dealing with covenants also, because people don't understand the benefit of being in the grant covenant compared to the vassal covenant. And they want to be stuck in the vassal covenant, not understanding what kind of damnation they're trying to bring on themselves. And the Most High haven't even showed that he's dealing with the old covenant. In the Mosaic covenant, they always had prophets. Always had prophets. Ain't been no prophets since John the Baptist, except you want to accept Christ. But ain't been no prophets in about 2,000 years, and they talking about something. We under the law of Moses. Come on, man. Enter into that new covenant. All things have been fulfilled. Another way we know in the new covenant. And just enjoy life. Be righteous. Love thy neighbor. But above all, love Christ and the Father. And you should be okay. I'm tired. I know I had a 13-hour shift. Really didn't get no sleep. So now I was able to do this video, and I'm finna get some rest. I'd like to say shalom. Thank you everybody for listening. Love you all. Hopefully some of this information resonated. It's impossible for us to be under the law of Moses no matter what you all say. And y'all got some dedication to do if y'all still trying to do it here in America. But thank y'all for listening. Assembly of Sound Doctrine. AOSD Chandler. Assembly of Sound Doctrine. Chandler. Add me on YouTube. Also, you can add my mentor at All Things Fulfilled by Mr. William Bell. Be on the lookout. I have a lot more videos. Get on my YouTube, like it, subscribe it, leave a message. You can inbox me, put it on a post. I will respond in a timely fashion if it's something I could respond to. All right, stay in grace and shalom. Love you all. Welcome to the new kingdom. To heaven.